boxing fans here in the Ben Davison Performance Centre. Just watched your fighter Leigh Wood work out. Firstly, how are you, Ben? You all right?
All good, thanks, mate. You?
All good, all good. Just, watch Leigh Wood work out, looking in great shape. Got some heavy fists.
Yeah.
Just talk to me about Leigh. He's had a bit of a journey. Finally to the top, he's going to be fighting Mauricio Lara. Just talk to me about his journey and when you first got him, the potential that you saw in him.
Yeah, well, one of his mutual friends, Leo DeLange, trains in the gym, and Leo was mentioning that Leigh was looking for a coach. And I watched him against Jazza, and he was hurt in one of the rounds, and Leigh beat his chest in that moment as if to say, let's go. And straight away that said to me, I didn't know him, but straight away that said to me something about his character. So straight away, I liked him. So I said, okay, bring him down to the gym. He come down, and I think at first there was almost a little bit of resistance there in terms of the style of coaching. But even though there was a bit of resistance, I think he was in a position where I've got nothing to lose if I buy into it. And he did buy into it. And the results and the journeys spoke for itself ever since then. And I always say, I'm extremely lucky to have Leigh Wood in the gym, because he's an absolute role model to the rest of the fighters in the gym.
You said ballsy there. When you look at that Conlan fight, man, it was crazy. I think Dominic Ingle said that it was like a Rocky movie, and it was. I was there, and it was probably one of the best fights I've seen live. When you look back at it and you take it all in, do you sort of, have you noticed how big a fight that was? What event that was? A lot of people are picking it for Fight of the Year last year.
Yeah, I think it was Fight of the Year. I think I think it's different and maybe a little bit difficult when you're in and around the fight, because you're so focused on what's happening or what needs to happen. But sorry, lost there. Someone sent me a message and it's on my mind now. But yeah, look, Conlan was a very difficult fighter to prepare for. He's so versatile, such a talented fighter, so layered that so much preparation had to go into that. And it was like a Rocky story. And I think that there was no winners or losers in that fight because of the way that, how entertaining the fight was. I think both fighters' stock rose from that fight. And, I've worked with some amazingly talented fighters over the years. But there is a little soft spot for Leigh Wood just because of the professionalism that he's shown in the journey that he's been on to get to where he's got to.
Obviously, he's had that frustration in regards to waiting for the Santa Cruz fight. We know what's happened with that. Move on. He's getting the Lara fight, which is a tough fight. Shows his testament to his character. He's already said he wants to be in the big fights. Now he's at the top. He wants to carry on the big fights. How much of a threat is Mauricio Lara? Yeah,
Mauricio Lara is very dangerous. I think that, at the time he took out what was probably the number one featherweight in the world at the time. So, of course, it's a dangerous fight. But you can't be as reckless as Lara against a puncher like Leigh Wood. It's boxing, anything can happen. But Leigh's got a plan set out, and I'm confident he will stick to it. I'm confident he'll get the job done, potentially early as well.
And talking to Michael Conlan, it seems like there might be that fight with Lopez for the IBF. Top Rank come out and said that they're trying to make that fight. I know Leigh in interviews have said, if that fight and Michael wins, let's get it back on the rematch. Is that something that you want to be part of?
Yeah, it's a massive fight. Like I said, Mick's a very, very good fighter, and if he's bringing a world title to the table, then he's bringing a hell of a lot to the table, and it's a rematch that everybody wants to see. So for sure, it's a fight that makes sense.
Ben, just quickly run down the rest of the fighters that you've got and what they're up to now, and when are we going to wait for announcement? I know Shabazz Massoud and everyone else. So if you just give people who want to know where they're at the moment.
Yeah, so we got Royston Barney Smith boxing on the 17th of February. We've got Alois Jr. He's boxing on the 17th of February. We've got Lee McGregor boxing on the 4th of March. We've got Pat McCormack boxing soon. That's going to be announced by Matchroom. We've got Shabazz Massoud awaiting a date. Could have some news imminently. Chris Congo trying to push for the rematch on the Esserman fight. We've got Will Cawley, who's in talks at the minute of finding a new promoter. Should hopefully have some news on Luke McCormack soon and his professional debut.
Well, Billy Joe.
Billy Joe, he's training, he's in and out of the gym. Obviously, being realistic, the goal was the Chris Eubank Jr. fight, and what happened the other day was a bit of a setback on that. So
is it still a setback? Because I'm sure a lot of people still want to watch that fight, regardless of what's up.
Would, but it's probably, unless Eubank was to do something in the rematch with Liam Smith, then it's not quite the fight that it was, is it? He's lost a lot of momentum. So yeah, we'll have to see on that.
What path do you want to take for Billy? Because obviously we know he's sort of cutting down weight right now. He's working quite hard to cut down the weight, but at this present time, what path are you looking at?
I really don't mind, if I'm honest. It's entirely up to him. He's in the gym, he's training. If he decides to box, we're there to support him. If he decides not to box, even if he still wants to train in the gym, not a problem. He's a good friend of mine, and he's for fighters like Billy Joe to be in the gym and rubbing off and sharing his experience with some of the prospects here is fantastic.
Talking about Chris Eubank, we know that Team Eubank are looking into sort of putting in an appeal for an elbow that they saw against Liam Smith. Just talk to me about that, Ben. Did you see anything there yourself when you watched the fight?
Did I what, sorry?
See an elbow from Liam Smith against Chris Eubank. Did you see that?
I didn't see it at the time. Obviously, I've seen these pictures and that. I don't know if that's what caused the eye or whatever, but it wasn't the shot that certainly done the damage to start it and to finish it. These things happen. People clash heads and elbows sometimes get caught, and it's part of boxing. An appeal to do what? Change the result? It's not going to happen, is it? So I just think that whatever they're deciding to do, whether they're deciding to go and fight someone else or whether they're deciding to fight Liam Smith next, I think that should be the focus. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, people will make their own decisions.
Just a final two from myself. You were at Wembley on Saturday night. Yeah. Witnessed probably a great fight, one of the greatest fights we've seen in the light heavyweight division in a little while. Artur Beterbiev beating Anthony Yarde, but I do want to talk to you about Anthony Yarde. Did he show you enough that he belongs at that level, at the top level? I have always said that I feel like more than capable of competing there. I believe that he will be a world champion. Unfortunately, he's come across two elite champions in his opportunities to try and capture a world title, but I'm confident that he will achieve his goal soon enough. What happens if Beterbiev and Bivol fight? Who wins that fight?
Good fight. I think that obviously he's got to do the Callum Smith fight there, and Callum Smith's a brilliant counterpuncher, and I think that Beterbiev can sometimes overcommit, which could be an issue for him against Callum Smith. And against Bivol, I can see Bivol making Beterbiev pay for his positioning. He was very good with that against Canelo Bivol. But yeah, obviously it's an amazing fight, and one that I certainly want to see.
Final one for myself. On the same night, we saw Tommy Fury and Jake Paul go face to face. Are you sold on that fight? A lot of people in boxing are still an R-ring. Yourself, are you going to be watching that fight?
I'll watch it, yeah, of course.
What happens in that fight? The boxer should be the person who's come late into boxing?
Yeah, look, Tommy's been boxing longer, and he's committed, but I think that Jake, I wouldn't call Jake Paul not a boxer. I think that he's very committed. I think that he's probably as committed, if not more committed, than a lot of professionals out there. And it's a proper fight, in my opinion.
Ben Davison, thank you very much for talking to Pro Boxing fans. No worries, mate.